Праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура! Праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура! Праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура! Праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура!
Alright, welcome you to the latest episode of the Political Analysis program. This is Rodin Mgemalia for Pessimist. Before we dive in, thank you for subscribing. Please continue to subscribe. I am Rodin Mgemalia for Pessimist, and I've come with the latest updates of the Israel-Hamas Lebanon what conflict and what is happening there in the Middle East region. At least 5 people have been killed and 8 wounded in an Israel airstrike on a building in central Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, according to Lebanese officials. The maut story broke in Beirut, housed a house Hezbollah affiliated health center, which Israel's military was hit in a precision attack. This is the first Israel strike. It has to be remembered that it is the first Israel strike close to Beirut center, just meters away from the Lebanese parliament. And there were 5 other airstrikes overnight against targets in southern suburb of the area. It comes after the Israel Defense Forces said 8 soldiers had been killed in a combat in southern Lebanon, and its first losses since the start of ground operations against the Iran-backed armed group, which is none other than Hezbollah. Hezbollah said it had destroyed Israel's tanks during the fighting and insisted that it had enough men and ammunition to push back the forces. Earlier, the IDF announced that more infantry and armored troops had joined the operation seeking to dismantle what it's called the terrorist infrastructure in Lebanese border villages. Of course, in the latest overnight strikes, 3 explosions were heard in the area in the city's southern suburbs, with a 4th closer to the center. There were 2 further airstrikes in the area, which came after the IDF warned people living nearby that it was targeting what it said were facilities belonging to Hezbollah in the area of the city known to be its stronghold. Before the overnight airstrikes, Lebanon's health ministry said 46 people had been killed and around 85 people were wounded in Israel bombings in the last 24 hours without differentiating between civilians and, of course, combatants. It is also emerged a U.S. permanent resident from the state of Michigan was among those killed in a recent Israel airstrikes, of course, on Lebanon. Kamer Ahmed Jawad, who is 56, was in the country to care for his elderly mother, according to the Detroit News. His death was confirmed by a White House official who said his death is a tragedy, as the death of many civilians in Lebanon. Hezbollah has been weakened after 2 weeks of Israel strikes and other attacks that have killed more than 1,200 people across Lebanon and displaced around 1.2 million, according to Lebanese authorities. Of course, Israel has gone on the offensive after almost a year of cross-border hostilities sparked by the war in Gaza, saying it wants to ensure the safe return of residents of border areas displaced by Hezbollah attacks. Hezbollah is a Shia Islamist political, military, and social organization that wields a considerable power in Lebanon. It is designated as a terrorist organization by Israel, the United States, the United Kingdom, UK, and other countries. Israel has gone on the offensive after almost a year, and I have already told you that. On the second full day of their ground invasion into Lebanon, Israel troops encountered Hezbollah fighters for the first time. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said in a statement on Wednesday that soldiers backed by aircraft had eliminated terrorists and dismantled terrorist infrastructure through precision guided munitions and close-range engagements in several southern Lebanese areas. Later, the IDF announced that 8 troops had been killed in action, most were commandos from the elite Eagles and Golan reconnaissance units. Hezbollah said its fighters had fired anti-tank missiles at Israeli commandos, killing and wounding dozens during clashes on Wednesday in one border village. It also said that other troops were targeted with explosives and gunfire on the outskirts of Kafir Kira, and that three Israeli Merkava tanks were destroyed by the missiles near Maron Aras. Hezbollah has spent it has spent years building infrastructure in southern Lebanon that excludes extensive underground tunnels, and it also has thousands of fighters. Of course, it is well known who know the area. We're paying tribute to the 8 soldiers. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said they had fallen
in the Middle East
in the midst of a tough
mount.
war against Iran's axis of evil.
Following remarks earlier in the week from the Israeli military that it was gearing up for a potential ground operation in Lebanon, Israel has deployed troops near the border with Lebanon.
That's what he said, the Prime Minister or the Premier of the Jewish state of Israel from the Likud party. Israeli air defenses were also in action again a day after they repelled the vast majority of the more than 180 ballistic missiles launched by Iran towards Israel on Tuesday night in retaliation for the Israeli airstrike in Beirut last Friday that killed Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and a top Iranian commander. More than 240 rockets were fired from southern Lebanon towards northern